Everyone in Boston's medical world knows the name B. Williams. My family has been at the center of it for generations. Our hospital, St. Mary Memorial, sits proudly by the Charles River. Since it opened in 1890, it has been one of the top hospitals in New England, especially for heart surgery. The building blends old beauty with modern design, just like the way my family tries to show power with elegance. My mother, Margaret Williams, is the chairperson of the hospital. One word from her can change the future of any doctor in this city. She smiles kindly in public, but her heart is cold. She makes tough decisions without blinking. At home, she rules just as strongly as she does at work. Every Sunday, we have dinner at our big, fancy house in Back Bay. For me, those dinners feel like punishment. "Catherine, tonight's wine should be Château Margaux. Vintage 2000, she said one evening. I nodded silently and went to the wine cellar. It's been 3 years since I started living in my family's mansion, not as a daughter, but more like a servant. I never talk back to my mother. I walk softly, so even my steps won't disturb the silence. I wear a plain white blouse and a gray skirt, my uniform. During the day, I work at a pharmaceutical company as a researcher and spend 3 days a week helping with clinical trials at our family hospital. I graduated at the top of my class. But despite all that, I serve wine at my mother's table and act like I'm invisible. Why do I live like this? Only one person knows the real reason. The mansion is always quiet. Even the marble hallways feel cold and empty. That day, the silence broke when my sister Ashley's voice rang out. "Hey, you're not wearing that to dinner, are you? At least put on an AES scarf or something." Ashley is a dermatologist and a famous Instagram influencer. She's my mother's favorite. Every day, she posts pictures of her perfect life, photos of her elegant office at the hospital, fancy meals, weekends on yachts. I'm never in any of them. "Don't worry," I said. "I'll change into my usual uniform for serving." Ashley nodded, clearly satisfied, while she adjusted her Chanel jacket and scrolled through her phone. My father, George, is in charge of planning at the hospital. But he doesn't get involved in anything unless it's about golf or luxury cars. He never speaks up about how I'm treated. He's proud of his car collection, especially his S-Class Mercedes, but when it comes to family, he stays quiet. Every Sunday, the dining room glows under a crystal chandelier. Mother always praises Ashley and her growing online fame. It's like I don't even exist. The silver knives and forks shine on the spotless tablecloth. After I finish serving dinner, I slip away to the kitchen and glance out the window. The river outside flows peacefully, unchanged. At work, my colleagues sometimes ask, "Why don't you just leave?" I always smile and say nothing. In my heart, I repeat the same words. One day, everything will change. And until that day comes, I'll wait. Because that's the promise we made. That Sunday, we were having dinner in a private room at a fancy hotel, the Plaza. The chandelier sparkled above us. Outside the window, the sun set over the river, turning the water gold. The food smelled amazing: white truffle risotto, poached lobster, grilled prime beef. The sommelier approached with the wine list, but Mother didn't even glance at it. "Chateau Lafite Rothschild. 1986, she said. I nodded and poured the wine while Ashley typed away on her phone. Then Ashley pulled out her shiny rose gold iPad from her Birkin bag. "Look at these cruise photos," she said, tapping the screen. One by one, pictures popped up. The family smiling on a cruise ship. Sunsets over dinner. Everyone laughing beside a private pool. Everyone except me. Mother smiled as she looked at the pictures. Father gave a small nod. Ashley's voice was full of pride. 2 weeks in the Caribbean was incredible. The captain's dinner was perfect. "Mom, your dress looked amazing." Then I said something I hadn't meant to say out loud. "What trip?" The room fell silent. Even the clink of silverware sounded loud. Ashley smiled coldly and lowered her iPad. "Well, you're not part of the family, are you? You're just the housekeeper." Mother and father laughed quietly. Their laughter echoed in the quiet restaurant. Tiny champagne bubbles rose in the glasses. People at nearby tables began to glance our way. Ashley added with a smirk, "Oh, and Mom told the captain she has 2 daughters." "Oops, guess she wasn't counting you." I clenched my hands in my lap. My skirt was wrinkled from my tight grip. My vision blurred. The chandelier lights looked like they were spinning. Ashley kept talking. "I'm planning a hospital staff trip to the Maldives next. Of course, no need for servants." I stood up. Everyone froze. I took out my phone. "I'll call my family, then," I said quietly. All eyes turned to me. Ashley looked shocked. Her perfect lipstick had smudged. "You don't have any family," she said, but her voice trembled. Mother stared at me, lips tight. Father drank more wine. "You're always making up stories," Ashley added, trying to sound bold again. But just then, the heavy restaurant doors creaked open. High heels echoed on the marble floor. Elizabeth Montgomery. She walked in with calm power. Her navy suit fit perfectly. The necklace around her neck sparkled, not flashy, just confident. "Sorry I'm late, Catherine," she said. Ashley's face went pale. Mother gripped her wine glass tighter. Father dropped his napkin. Elizabeth walked to me and placed her hand gently on my shoulder. I felt warmth, strength. "Chairperson Margaret," Elizabeth said firmly. "Are you aware of the latest board decision?" Mother frowned. Ashley tried to speak, but Elizabeth's steady gaze shut her up. "I've been nominated as the next chairperson of St. Mary Memorial." Mother laughed nervously. "That's impossible. I'm still in charge. I bring in millions," Elizabeth calmly responded. "Your numbers are impressive. But the board is ready for change." Mother stared. "But why come here tonight?" Elizabeth smiled. Then she took my hand. "Because Catherine is my partner." The room froze again. Ashley's live stream froze too, an error flashed across her screen. "We met at a medical conference," Elizabeth continued. "I was moved by Catherine's research. And even more, by her kindness and strength. I looked at her, and the pain I had carried for so long felt lighter." "I come from a conservative family," Elizabeth said. "It took time to accept who I am. But meeting Catherine helped me find the courage." Mother stood up, furious, but Elizabeth raised a hand. "I know what you've done," she said. "You treated your daughter like a servant. You erased her from your family. Is that the image you want for this hospital?" Ashley's hands trembled around her phone. Mother tried to reply, but Elizabeth didn't let her. I was ready to fight for the chairperson position. But more than anything, I wanted to protect Catherine. When I said that, Mother's face changed. She forced a smile and lowered her voice. "Oh, come now, we're family, we can talk this through." But I didn't budge. I looked her straight in the eye. "Catherine came to work here 3 years ago as a live-in helper, but the real reason she was brought in," I said calmly, "was because you used her. You wanted her close to me, hoping to win me over." I gently took Catherine's hand and stood beside her. "But your plan didn't go the way you expected." I grew up in a Boston church where my father gave the same sermon every week. Now, in this quiet room, I could hear his words echo again, through me. "Love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast," I said, quoting Corinthians. My father inhaled sharply at the familiar words. "As a Christian and a doctor, I've always tried to do the right thing," I continued, "but before I found real love, I kept lying to myself." I looked at Catherine, and she squeezed my hand. That simple touch washed away years of pain. I met Catherine 2 years ago. Her research presentation moved me, not just as a surgeon, but as a person. Mother tried to cut in, but I raised my voice just slightly. Chairperson Margaret wanted me to be her successor, so she had Catherine live at the house, hoping it would bring me closer. Ashley gripped her wine glass, her flawless smile beginning to crack. "But the plan didn't work the way you thought." Yes, I was drawn to Catherine, but not just for her research skills or how she worked in the hospital. My voice grew steadier. Watching how her own family treated her, I made a choice, would become powerful enough to protect the woman I love. "Wait," Mother spoke up, her voice tight, "we didn't mean." I turned toward her with sharp eyes. Treating her like a servant, leaving her out of family vacations, never posting about her online, like she didn't even exist. That's not how you treat family. Silence fell over the room. Outside the window, the Charles River sparkled quietly. My surgical success rate is 98%, I said. I perform over 400 operations a year and bring in $10 million annually to the hospital. The board chose me for the chairperson role based on skill, not favors. Mother's face went pale. She forced another smile and lowered her voice again. Well, Elizabeth, we're still family. Maybe this was just a misunderstanding. This time, Catherine spoke. Her voice shook a little, but it was firm. Mom, I remember everything from these 3 years. Ashley's words, Dad looking away, your cold stares. Ashley fumbled for her phone, but her hands were shaking. I'm proud of the work I do, Catherine said. As a researcher and clinical trial coordinator, I've achieved a lot, and with Elizabeth, we've accomplished so much together. She stood up slowly. I placed my hand gently on her back. But more than our research, I found something priceless. I found love. Mother tried to hold the moment together. Catherine, think about your job, your reputation. That's exactly why I'm doing this, I said clearly. I'm choosing Catherine, even if it means giving up the chairperson role at St. Mary Memorial Hospital. Mother gasped. But your career. I earned everything through skill, and I've already accepted a position at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Mother's face lost all color. The name of that hospital meant everything in Boston. For 3 years, I endured your silence and cruelty, just for this day, Catherine said, holding my hand tighter. We're not hiding anymore. Ashley's phone fell onto the table. On the screen, a live stream had cut out. The words, connection error, blinked. Then a quiet voice spoke from the corner. Enough. Everyone turned. It was Father. He closed his eyes and sighed. We lost sight of what mattered. Mother collapsed into her chair. Ashley stared out the window, blankly. Without saying another word, I took Catherine's hand and walked to the door. Before leaving, I turned back and spoke softly. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. I paused, then added, and love never fails. We walked out, hand in hand. The Charles River sparkled behind us, as if celebrating a new beginning. 1 year later, morning sunlight streamed into our office on the top floor of Brigham and Women's Hospital. Catherine, I said, looking up from my laptop, we got a reply from the New England Journal of Medicine. She rushed over. Was it accepted? I smiled. Yes, our work will finally be published. We held hands and smiled. The research we'd worked on together, a new method of heart surgery and a revolutionary drug protocol, was finally getting worldwide recognition. Jane, our assistant, walked in with coffee. Congratulations, Dar. Montgomery. She used to be a nurse at St. Mary. When I left, many good people followed me. Thank you, though, that name's changing soon. I touched the ring on Catherine's finger. Next month, we were getting married at a quiet church in Provincetown. Outside the window, the river sparkled in the spring sunlight. Across the water, St. Mary Memorial Hospital looked faded and quiet. It had lost its shine. Mother's harsh leadership drove many doctors away, and Ashley's livestream scandal hurt the hospital's reputation even more. Her social media presence dropped. Her recent posts had captions like #lonely and #familybonds. Maybe life was finally teaching her something. Just then, Catherine's phone lit up. The sender surprised us. Father. Dear Cine. Today is your birthday. Over the past year, I've done a lot of thinking. I now realize we forgot something important. I spoke with our pastor. He said, love doesn't have a shape, but it always exists. I was too obsessed with appearances. I didn't see what would truly make you happy. Would it be alright if I attended your wedding next month? Only if you and Elizabeth would welcome me. With love, Dad. Tears gently rolled down Catherine's cheeks. I wrapped my arms around her. Another email arrived. From Dad again. P.S. Your mother is starting to change, little by little. The other day, she whispered, what were we trying to protect? It might take time, but I believe we'll get there. Let's write back, I said softly. Let's find a new way to be a family. Catherine nodded, and began to type. Outside, the river shimmered even brighter. Around the same time, in the chairperson's office at St. Mary Memorial Hospital, Margaret Williams stared at a wedding invitation. Golden letters stood out on white paper. Please join us to celebrate the beginning of our new life. Catherine Williams Elizabeth Montgomery. Her eyes grew misty. She walked to the window and looked across the river. Brigham and Women's Hospital gleamed in the sunlight. I'll go, she whispered, not to anyone in particular, but her voice carried hope. Elsewhere, Ashley stared at her phone. A message had just come in. From Catherine. Dear Ashley, I saw your Instagram. Would you like to have tea at my new lab sometime? Waiting to hear from you, Kath. Ashley stared for a long time, then she slowly began to type. Can I come? Actually, I've wanted to say this for a long time. I'm sorry. And thank you. Outside, the spring wind blew gently by the Charles River. A new story had begun.